Hello everyone, Corey Mitchell here with TradeThatSwing.com, and in this video we're going to talk about getting into the optimal mind frame for trading and essentially high performance. I find a lot of people trade well in a demo account and then they go to trade live and it's like a different world. Their mind's spinning, they're just out of whack. They look at their charts at the end of the day and they're like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, of course that's a valid setup. Why didn't I take it? I took this horrible trade. Why did I do that? And it's almost like they're having an out-of-body experience when the pressure's on. And this happens in all fields, right? You can be a good golfer, you go in a tournament and you blow it. You can shoot hoops great in your backyard. You can sink 100 in a row. You're in a game. You get the free throw when the game's on the line, and you miss it. Right? And of course there is an element of randomness to all results. But when we look at all these events, you should have an edge, and we should see that playing out. So if you're good in a demo account, you should be good live trading. If you're good on the court in your backyard, you should be able to sink a free throw in the game. The only thing that is different is the mind frame. I'm trying to make this transition. I can play good golf when I just go out. I'm trying to play more tournaments. I'm working on it. It's been a struggle, but what I found is when I started trading, of course there's a struggle period as well, and I documented everything. So I have a separate video on this called Taking Your Trading to the Next Level. I'll put the link in the comments below. But I would document everything. What was my best mind frame? When did I trade my best? What kind of mood was I in? What had happened? Was I angry when I was trading really well? Was I super zen-like? What was going on? And that helped me kind of find where my optimal performance point was for me. So for some people it'll be when they're a little bit angry, and we hear a lot of bad stuff about anger and revenge trading with trading, but no emotion's bad, and we don't want to shun certain emotions. If you trade well angry, you should embrace that. Of course, with anger, the idea is that sometimes you have out of control anger and you're risking too much, and you are revenge trading and you're not taking high quality signals. But if anger focuses you in, that's the mind frame you want to be in. So for me, my ideal mind frame seems to be, in everyday life we kind of have, a constant kind of chatter going on. There's my energy levels kind of here. The state I want to be in for trading is basically that feeling of when you take a deep breath and you just exhale and you let your shoulders drop. That's the kind of state I want to be in. It's just a little lower frequency, right? So even, recording this, I'm talking a little faster, I'm a little more animated, at least for me, just kind of my normal self. And I need to drop just a touch so that, I almost feel like my talking's a little slower. It's just, I've just brought my mind down a little. I feel like I've sunk kind of more down into myself, into my body, and I'm not as, being stimulated by the outside world. And that's generally when I trade my best. And I've noticed that, and I'm trying to implement in other things. So to be able to do it in golf tournaments and stuff like that. And I haven't quite got there yet. to that state, and I've just started this kind of tournament journey mostly this year. And so, of course, just like trading, there's a bit of a learning curve to find not my golf game per se, but to be able to control my mind under extreme, or basically the highest pressure situations. And like trading, live trading is your high pressure situation. So like we were talking about, a lot of people trade okay in a demo account, but they go to actually make money and they just blow it. So there's some psychological things going on. One thing I've noticed, and like I said, write all this, whatever you're trading, however it's going, write down why it's going good, why it's going bad, what your mind frame's like. Because I noticed that I get the switch turns on too early when under what would be high pressure for me, which is golf. Trading was high pressure at the start. I no longer view it as high pressure. I can just, trade. I don't really think about it much. So what I mean by the switch goes on is with demo trading, you're probably not obsessing about how much you're going to make in your demo account tomorrow. But all of a sudden when you go to live trading, the night before, you're just like, your mind's buzzing. Like, ooh, what's tomorrow going to be like? Ooh, I'm going to make so much money tomorrow. I feel like ready. And to be excited is okay. But if you trade really well in your demo account and you're not doing that, but you're overly obsessive when you're trading real money and you're not doing good, that tells you something, right? And I've noticed this in the golf tournaments. Like, if I'm going to golf tomorrow, I'm excited. I'm like, great, I'm going to golf tomorrow. But I'm not hyper focused on what my score is going to be, and if I miss a fairway, or if I have a bad hole, or how many birdies am I going to have? All this stuff, it's not running through my head. But I noticed this last tournament, I'm thinking about it. And then I'm trying to think about how I should be thinking about it. And I'm thinking about, ooh, maybe I shouldn't be thinking about all this. Right? My mind is spinning on it. And what happens is that you start using up all that mental energy that you're going to actually need to stay focused and to find that optimal state when it actually matters. So most of us have kind of used up all our focus by the time we even get to the big show, right? So you've been obsessing all night about, right, how many trades you might win, and what your problems are, and what you're really good at, and you're maybe concerned about losing money, or you're thinking about how much money you're going to win, and it's taking up a lot of your mental headspace. But it wouldn't do that in a demo account. And I'm just saying, if you trade well in the demo account and you're not doing that, and then you go to live trading and you're obsessing all night before you start trading the next day, or the morning before you start trading, and you're not doing well, you could be, something's going on there. So just be aware of that. So how do we sort of stop this obsession where we're turning our mind on too early? We're losing our focus, or we're using up all our focus, all of sort of our mental energy before we even get there. It's going to come down to confidence. And I don't mean confidence in winning. I mean, although it does have to do with that, but I mean confidence in what you're doing, your execution of it, and that overall it will produce good results. So I guess the confidence thing is, it's not confidence that I'm going to win every trade. It's confidence that over many trades, if I follow my process, I'll make money. But we don't want to get overly confident on an individual result. We want to be confident in our overall results. I always have to specify that, talking about confidence. So how do we develop confidence? Well, we got to put in the reps so that we know what we're looking for, and it's just a matter of executing it. So we simplify it down to usually just a few things that we like to watch for, and if we see them, we execute. So you might have, just a very quick little checklist. When you're a new trader, that checklist is going to be huge, and that's why the trading sucks at the beginning, right? Because you have so many things to think about, and none of them are automatic yet. So it's just, it feels stressful, it feels overwhelming. But over time, you learn one little thing, and you keep doing it over and over, and it becomes automatic. And then by the end of it, there's, after several months of like really hard work, or for some people, if you're swing trading, you don't have a ton of time, it might take a year, 2 years for you to kind of ingrain some of these things. But the end result is that you basically want to get down to just a very small mental checklist of things that you're looking for. And that way you're not obsessing the night before. You know what you need to look for in real time. And you go in and you're just looking for those few things. In order to keep that going, though, you're going to need to be practicing, putting in time into writing down what's working, what's not working, but have it sectioned off. This isn't something that prolongs and takes up your entire life. It's, after trading, maybe you sit down for 20 minutes and you write some things down. You journal. Or if you're not really a journaler, you go through your chart, whatever it is that you do to help highlight what you're doing well, what you're not doing so well, so that you can improve. And then the end results of that should be, you have some definitive things, a very small checklist to go in for the next day. This allows you to, basically correct and go in. If you don't feel confident going into the next day, you probably shouldn't be trading, really, right? You want to get it down to that, small checklist where you feel good about it. And when you're new, the expectation should be lower. So just because you don't feel super confident, you're still going to have to put in those reps, right? You have to find a way to make yourself more confident, whatever that takes. Looking through the charts, putting in more time, right? Just like learning a golf swing at the beginning, you're going to have, a million things going through your head, but over time that list drops to, so that professional golfers usually have like one thought they think of during a swing, maybe two. And you just want to drop it down to that level. A couple years ago, I was posting a lot of extra charts through using simulation software where, so I like to day trade the Euro USD. And so I was, trading live. But in the evening, just to work on some things, I was also posting charts of, I'd go back and download a random day and trade it on a trading simulator where it, draws the bars in real time. Each bar is forming as, bumping up and down, and then the next bar forms. So you can trade it just like it's live, but you go back several years and pick a random day. Just because I needed that rep, right? I need those reps to feel confident at that time. And it helps because sometimes that'd be more fruitful than getting into that obsessive mind frame, because that's not doing you any good. You're not actually benefiting yourself much by just becoming obsessive and overthinking things. The same thing happened with golf. I had this big tournament. I had no time to practice, lots going on, and so things started to deviate a little bit in the swing. I didn't have time to correct it, so then the confidence starts to go. All of a sudden you're overthinking things, trying to change things with every swing. Really bad. If I had just taken some time, instead of focusing on playing so much, or the live trading so much, if I'd spent a little more time in the simulator or at the driving range or on the putting green just practicing a few things, that would have probably done a lot more for my confidence, getting me to just put in the reps, say, yep, this is working, this is what I got to do, giving me that one or two things that I need to think about when the pressure's on, and that's it. So I'm utilizing my time to actually practice, as opposed to getting into that obsessive state. So if you're noticing a difference between your demo trading or your tiny account, and then when you're making the bigger leap to try to make it a career or something, your results suck, those are a couple things to watch for. Are you obsessing too early? And is your sort of obsession different than what it would be in the account that you're trading well? Maybe that's your demo account. If it is, that's a clue right there that your mind frame's very different with the live account than it is with the demo, if you're thinking about it a lot more before you're trading. And then I would also just say, put in the reps, develop the confidence in whatever you're doing. Don't try to learn everything. If you're just starting out, pick one setup, hundreds of examples, run through simulators, just develop that confidence in that method, so that you just have a very short list of things you have to check off when you're live trading. And you want to find that optimal point where you seem to perform your best. Try to drop into that mind frame. If you're getting pulled out of it because you're worried about results, that tells you then you need to go back to the confidence thing. How do you develop confidence? Well, it sounds like you need to do more work. You need to put in more reps. You need to answer the questions that are popping up in your head when you start trading shitty. Because when you start trading shitty and your mind starts racing, all those questions, all those things that are going through your head, those are potential holes in your strategy that you have not answered to yourself. So there's a part of you that's saying, hey, what about this? What about this? What about this? If you felt confident in your method, you just be like, oh no, that's handled by this, maybe your mind's like, there's like a little wick there, but you're like, no, we're in super strong momentum. We had the pullback, an inside candle there, another one inside there. We're starting to break lower here. I'm taking that trade. You can calm those voices right away with confidence. That's what confident people do, right? The frantic people around them are like, what do we do? What do we do? And a confident person just says, this is what we're going to do, and this is why. And you have to think of that. You, the trader sitting here, has to be that, decisive person. But you can only get there, and you're only going to make good choices if you've put in the reps. Being confident without having the knowledge and the kind of reps and the experience behind you is just stupid, right? Because you're going to be confident in the wrong thing. You want to be confident in the right thing, what you're doing, something that has shown good results repeatedly over and over and over again. So you got to put in those reps to develop that confidence. That's going to allow you to be in a better mind frame, and then to keep that mind frame, think about what's the ideal place, how do you get into that state, and so that you can maintain that state better. We want to avoid the obsessing outside. With live trading, if sometimes it's making too big of a jump too quickly, so if you've gone from a demo account and you instantly jumped up to your $100,000 account, it's a lot of money for you, it's scary. Why make that big jump? It's you'll get there eventually. Start with a $5,000 account, trade that, bump it up, grow it to 10,000. Or if you do well for a couple months, then add some more, then add some more, then add some more. If you keep doing well, you'll get there eventually. But trying to make a huge jump, that's also often a problem for many people. So incremental increases, but this was more about the mind frame side of it. Just a couple things to be aware of and potentially watch for. Document everything while you're learning. That's the only way you're going to get better. It's no one else's fault. If you're not trading good, it is your own fault. You need to find a way to get better at it, just like I need to get better at playing tournaments. There's no one else I can blame. I can't blame the courses or other players. I have to look at me and say, what's the difference between playing a normal round and playing a tournament round, and find those differences, and then find a way to recreate that in the tournaments so that my mind's basically in the same spot, or maybe even a better spot, because you're gonna find information by writing all this stuff down, ways to do things better. And so you're probably going to be able to find ways to even up your performance from what you were seeing in the demo account when your mind was in a pretty good spot. So just a few things to think about, and I hope that helps you out. If you've found some ways, maybe you were struggling with live trading and you found some ways to get your mind into a better spot, for sure leave them in the comments. If you have stories about other sports or something where you could do it well and you made the leap to doing it on a bigger stage, any insights you have, because I'm sure the viewers who are going through this want as many kind of suggestions as they can. But these were a few really big ones which I've been thinking about recently and implementing, and hopefully they help you out as well.